Hey, everybody. I am Haley Gray, and I am the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network. And we are here today for some really amazing speakers. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I am getting feedback from your side, Myrtha, I
Feedback?
believe, or maybe it's on my side. Nope, got it. It was on my side. I apologize.
No worries.
Uh, so hopefully y'all weren't hearing that. Um, I hope that this will be a useful, helpful, inspirational set of talks for you for today. Give us a hello. Let us know that you're out there. Give us some talk. Chat with us. Let us know how we're doing. And I want to welcome my dear friend, longtime friend, Myrtha Dubois, to the stage. Welcome, Myrtha. I am so happy to have you here.
I am super excited to be here, Haley. Thank you so very much. I mean, you bring this talk on several times a year, and more individuals should really get involved and use this platform. Haley is one of these very generous business individuals that I've met in my lifetime. So I definitely appreciate you, Haley. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. We have some time, so get comfortable with me. My name is Myrtha Dubois. I am a personal development strategist. And basically, I help women entrepreneurs, such as yourself, answer the question, what's next for me? I mean, we have all been to that fork in the road, right? That crosswalk, if you will, and thinking, what do I do from here? Where do I go from here? Right? And if you have, go ahead and put me in the chat. Let me see that you're with me and you're engaged, because this is one of those conversations. I like to walk the talk, if you will. So when you get to that crossroad, right, that fork in the road, sometimes it's because you're either starting a new relationship or getting out of one. Sometimes it's either because you've hit that ceiling at work, right? So you've maxed out on your maybe income, maybe your position. You've reached the highest position, and you want to do something different, something else. Maybe you don't want to do anything different. You just want to do it somewhere else. So what is next for me? And that is the question, right? Or perhaps you had a full house and now it's down to one. What do you do with all that space and time where you used to pour into others? And that's a huge one. So the question, what's next, must be answered. And it may be several times throughout your lifetime that you're asking that question, because you're going to you're going to come to that fork of the road more than once. Okay. All right. And today is very important to answer that question for yourself, because we're going to talk about boundaries. Yes, boundaries. And it's a huge topic. It's a huge topic. So buckle up because we are about to go on a ride. But first, I wanted to kind of identify what boundaries are. And there are several different boundaries. But let's talk about why set boundaries to begin with. Like, first, what is boundaries? And then we're going to talk about why set one. Why is it important to set a boundary? And so, just as I talked about what's next for me, that question, right? Boundaries come into play. Boundaries come into play everywhere you are. Okay, understand that. And so when I see words on social media that say just say no, or no is a full sentence, I respectfully disagree. And let me tell you why. The reason why just say no is not enough is because that's right, point the finger at you don't know what you're saying no to most of the time. Okay, that's number one. And the second part is, a lot of times when we say just the word no, we start to feel guilty, because now we're thinking, oh my goodness, I just said no. And, I'm not really doing anything, or I'm not doing anything too important. I just wanted to say no. Well, that doesn't work either, because then you start feeling that guilt. It doesn't work for you. When you say no, and you can take, if you're taking notes, drop that in the link or write it down in your journal, wherever it is that you're taking notes. When you say no, be sure that you are saying yes to yourself every single time. Again, when you say no to somebody else, be sure that you are saying yes to yourself every single time. When you say yes to yourself, whether, let me just share a quick story. I had a client who, we were on the phone, and she said, well, Myrtha, I need to wash my hair, but I can't do that because I promised someone I was going to do whatever. So I said to her, I said, so you're telling me that you will put off your self-care or self-love, if you will, because somebody else's need is more than yours. Now, if you're hearing this, you know it doesn't sound right, right? It just doesn't sound right. So boundaries is absolutely a self-help, self-care, and self-love opportunity for you. So when you say no to someone else and you say yes to yourself, you are self-loving and self-caring. Repeat that if you have to. Repeat it. When I say no to someone else and I'm saying yes to myself, I'm saying I love me and I care for me. Okay? Write that down. Very important. The other reason why boundaries are important is because it creates a clear guideline, not so much a rule. Because, and the reason why I say not so much a rule is because boundaries can change over time. Boundaries are like priorities. It can change over time depending on where you are in your lifetime. Remember that what next, right? What's next for me? So where you are in your lifetime in that moment, and you're asking yourself the question, what's next for me? Your boundaries may change over time. So when you create boundaries, you're setting clear guideline, okay, of how you want to be treated in the moment. Clear. Like between the hours, it's just like, so for example, there are some individuals who work 9 to 5. During the 9 to 5, your employer may say, well, we don't want you using a cell phone at work. So what do you tell your friends and families? Don't call me between the hours of 9 to 5. So why can you set boundaries for somebody else, but you can't set it for yourself? So if you are self-employed, women entrepreneurs, right? And I call my sisters sisterpreneurs. So it's the same thing. If you are self-employed, if you are a business owner, if you got a side hustle, you need to tell people in your circle what's important for you. Do not call me between the hours of 9 to 1 or 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or between whatever that is. You have to be clear and you have to be very specific. Okay? Boundaries allow you to safely express a timeline of mutual respect. And guess what? It also helps identify your needs, yours, because we're talking about you. It helps identify your needs in the moment. For example, if I have a 9 o'clock appointment with a client or potential client, maybe a potential client, not even a client, a potential, but yet you call me at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock and say, hey, Myrtha, I need you to drop me off at the airport. I may say no. And the reason why I'm going to say no is, one, I got to take into account there's going to be traffic. Two, I got to take into account, I have on my calendar, I have a scheduled appointment that I personally don't want to be late for. Okay? So my need is to in that moment, in that example, my need is my potential customer, but how I come across to my potential customer slash client. Does that make sense? So if I'm late for the first appointment, that's a bad feeling in their mouth as well as mine, especially if I am one of those individuals who really believes in showing up for my clients slash customers. So I don't want to be late. Understand that. And then lastly, I want you to understand that setting boundaries is important because it works in all relationships, whether it's, within your family, whether it's at work, whether it's a professional setting and you have a partner, if you will, or a team of individuals, if you will. You got to set those boundaries. Now, let me go into the different types of boundaries real quickly. So you have personal boundaries, which is that line that you draw to maintain harmony and protect us, right? Protect the whole of you. Those are personal boundaries. I don't want you coming in and messing with my mind. I don't want you coming in and messing with my emotions. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Then you have physical boundaries, which are things that are visible. Like you're in my space. You're too close to me, right? Your body or something that you own is too close of mine. So for example, if you are sharing a home with someone and perhaps you have some medication or some special diet and you don't want people just putting their hands in there, that's a physical boundary. So you need to set those expectations so that people are aware, right? And for those of us who kind of loses it sometimes, people need to understand that if you cross this, these are the consequences. And you got to be clear about those consequences. And just say no, just to say no is not a full no is not a full sentence. So when you say no, let people understand that there are consequences that go with that no. It's not just say no and then you're gonna do me some kind of way and everything's gonna go back to normal. I have a second testimony for you. I had a young lady client who says, well, Myrtha, I became a minister and none of my family members want to call me pastor. So my question to her is, what do they call you? She said, by my first name. I said, do you answer? She said, yes. I said, but you're confusing them and you clearly don't know what boundaries you are setting for yourself and for others. Listen, boundaries is a way to help others treat you the way you want to be treated. So it has to be clear. It has to be clear. It's got to be specific. Because if people don't know how to treat you, they're going to continue to treat you the way that you don't prefer. And if that happens, you're going to continue to start to feel some kind of way. And it may even set you back a little bit. So promise yourself today that you will set clear boundaries. You will set clear expectations, which means that it comes with consequences. So, and then you'll have that conversation with the people who are in your circle and need to know. The other boundary is mental boundary, of course. When you have an opinion and somebody says, well, your opinion doesn't matter. That's a problem, right? So that matters. Emotional boundaries is another one. And it's about your feelings. If you feel some type of way, no one should tell you, don't feel like this. Okay? And then the last boundary type that I'll go through is spiritual boundaries, which is whoever you believe in. No one should tell you, oh, don't believe this, believe this. Now, people can share and exchange information, can share and exchange some an experience maybe, but to tell you point blank, don't do this and do this is definitely outside of their boundaries and definitely outside of your boundaries as well. So real quickly, just to wrap it up, we talked about types of boundaries. We talked about personal boundaries, physical boundaries, mental boundaries, emotional boundaries, and spiritual boundaries. And there are also something called financial boundaries. is the next one. Don't let someone tell you how you should spend your money. If you want to splurge and have a grand old party and spend your hard-earned money, that's on you. And if someone asks you for a loan and you say no, they should not be upset because that's your money. Okay, so those are some of the things that I'd like for you to walk away with today as far as boundaries are concerned. But the last thing that I'd like to do is basically set up a little exercise, if you will. I'd like for you to draw a circle, a small one, right? A small circle. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there we go. All right. So draw a small circle. The one in the middle right here. Just a small circle right here. This one. Ooh, this one right here. Just a small circle. And in that small circle, put inside that small circle people that I'm going to write that because I want to make sure. So those are the small, whoever's in that small circle are the people closest to you. So those individuals who are closest to you, I need you to put them in that small circle and then ask yourself, should they be in that small circle? Are they treating me the way that I want to be treated? Are they following the boundary guidelines that I have set? Or should those individuals, you need to set an appointment with them so you can discuss your boundaries, expectation, as well as what? The consequences. That's right. That small circle are the people who are closest to you. Then draw another circle right around it. And those are for the people who should be close to you because they are respecting your wishes. They are respecting your boundaries. They are following your guidelines, but yet you keep them at a distance. Why? Ask yourself that question. That's not for me to answer. It's for you. Why you keep them at a distance if they're giving you what you need and what you deserve? Okay. And then the other thing, again, is to make sure that you are having the same conversation. Remember, boundaries can change over time. Same conversation with both the small circle and the circle around it. I wouldn't go into the other two because, running out of time, but definitely want to start those two circles with you today. Start that today. Put the names of the individuals that you need to have a conversation with. But first, you need to identify what your boundaries are, the expectations, the consequences, and then you need to set a time to have a conversation with the people in those two circles, right? Whether you're going to move them back or bring them forward. And that is all I have for you today. My name is Myrtha Dubois, once again, personal development strategist. And yes, the question of what's next for me should always be asked. And if you need me, you can reach out to me.
I love these so much, Myrtha. I've always loved your message, and boundary setting is and can be such a hard thing, especially when it comes to family members and those closest to you.
Yes, it can be.
That's always my hardest. I don't have a problem with, people that are a little bit further out in the circle, but man, family members can be a whole other ball of wine.
Yeah. And it's more like a lot of times is because, we grow up in such a way, and as we start to know a little bit better and we want to operate better, then it makes it tough because people know you as who you used to be, now who you are, now who you are becoming. Hence the story with the young lady that became a pastor, and no one wanted to address her as such. So yeah, it can be difficult.
Awesome. I love it. And thank you for sharing this super important message. How does somebody find you or get in touch with you?
You can reach me. Actually, I'm going to give you my, the calendar, https / creating purposeful resilience .as.me and schedule an appointment and we'll talk.
There you go. That's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has
Thank
been
you. Thank
an
you.
awesome talk and an awesome reminder. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
Everybody,
you.
let's give Myrtha a huge round of applause and thank you.
Woo.
And some awesome, amazing reminders. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.